Hey everybody, hope y'all are doing good today. It is a beautiful fall day, at least getting fall. With that in mind, days are getting shorter. It's getting dark earlier, and we've got a project that we started last year or earlier this year. I can't remember now, and I need to get it finished. It's a family member, and I need to help them out. So we've got the lamp post back in here, and we're going to try to finish it up. The last time y'all saw it, we had welded the frame together. We made the base plate. We located the holder for the brackets that'll hold the light, and we drilled the holes for those. We had also made some cover plates for the wiring, and we've got those opened up, cleaned up. So now it's just finished fabrication, clean it, powder coat it, wire the lights. So already this morning I've been tackling a little scale rust that's been on here. It's been in the shop, but as you know, bare metal's gonna rust no matter what. So we've done that. We finished welding up all of the brackets to hold the lights. I think now we're gonna look at doing some scroll work. I've got to figure out how to bend that. So that's gonna be one of my next tasks. And we're gonna do some experimenting. I really want a nice finial on top, and I've been trying to find some that are just metal. Most of what I find is plastic or really, really thin metal, and that's not what I want. So I was at my local welding supply house, and they had these finials, and sorry about the rust on it, but that'll be sandblasted off. And that's nice, but the base is a little small for what I need. They also had this. Well, that actually works out pretty well. Concern I've got is this is cast, so I don't know how or if I'm even going to be able to weld this. I may have to braze it on the top because we're attaching it to cold roll steel. So we're going to play with this and see what we can do, okay? Okay, so an operator error. I thought I hit the time lapse while I was welding this on, and I forgot to. So it actually welded a lot better than I expected it to. It's still really warm to the touch, and the reason is because I'm not finished welding. I've got another finial, this one, that I'm going to try to weld on here, but I wanted to stop and say something real quick. You can see all the rust on this. Make sure anywhere you're going to weld, especially with cast, because it's got a bunch of garbage in it, make sure you clean it really, really good. Welding on cast is not great, not fun anyway. So if you're going to try this, understand that everything's fighting against you. So let's try to see what we can do with this. Okay, so I've got the finial welded on here. I'm treating this because the finial is a cast material. I'm treating it just like a cast metal if you were doing a repair to it. So I've welded it. Probably didn't do it properly. I'm probably going to get roasted in the comments, but I'm still learning. I don't do a lot of cast metal stuff, and so this is all experimentation for me. So we're going to try it and see how it does. We've got it welded. Now I'm going to wrap it in a fire blanket, let it cool down. It'll probably sit here for the next 4 or 5 hours cooling, and then we'll come out and we'll check it to see how it came out. See you then. So we've got all of our brackets made, and now it's time to work on some scroll work to go in here to flourish it. Let me grab one of the ones that was originally on it. So this is one of the original scrolls, and it's okay other than the new one is about that much longer. But this is all aluminum. It's cast aluminum. So I can't really take this loose and put it on that. It ain't gonna work. So I've never done scroll work. This will be something new for me, but I've talked to a gentleman who owns a shop the next town over, and he's kind of talked me through it. I can go and buy something from Harbor Freight that will do a decent job, but it won't get really tight scroll work. I can go to Shop Outfitters, which I would love to be able to do. They've got one that does amazing scroll work, but the entire kit's almost $4,000, and I don't have that kind of money right now. So I went over and talked to him, and he told me how to make a jig to make the scroll work I want to do. So that's what we're going to do. So let me show you. He loaned me his jig. Let me show you his jig, and then I'll take you through how we're going to make our own. This is his jig. It is nothing special. It's an actual scroll that he had already cut out of heavy gauge steel. I think this is 1/4 inch thick. So he made a scroll, and then he welded in a support here to keep it from collapsing. And then these two stops are where the material will go depending on how tight you want the bend. All right, so if I wanted a tight bend, I would take my material and put it up against that one, and then I would twist it all the way around, and that would give me a fairly tight bend. If I want one that's a little more open, I put it against that second stop and do the same thing. And this is very simple. Like I said, it's a scroll with a couple of stops in it, welded to a piece of angle iron, and that's it. So that's what we're gonna do. First thing, let's get our heavy gauge metal bent, and what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna use the torch to heat the metal up to allow us to bend it around so that we can use a heavier gauge steel. Okay, we've got our scroll made. Now we just need to mark the length, cut it off, and let it cool. Okay. All right, so there's our finished scroll, and it fits up pretty good. So I think we're good and ready to move on to the next step. All right, so you can see it sitting on top of the other flange or the other jig. So I think it works pretty good.